Okay, so we just got a bomb dropped on us, guys. Here I was, ready to edit my Amphibia video, and then Terrace and Disney just dropped a bomb on us. So I'm just going to get right into it with this new promo and my initial thoughts and reactions. Now, the first part of this video is actually from Adventures in the Elements, but then this promo just goes off. We see Luce in her Hexside uniform, and we see the leggings are white and changed to yellow, which represents the potions track. So now we have a little bit more of an understanding of how students pick their tracks. Although we know that Luce has been seen wearing a multicolored uniform as well. We also see Luce playing Grudgeby, and look at how cute she is in her little Grudgeby uniform. We get this shot of the Blight siblings from Adventures in the Elements. Our next shot is of King wearing his fanny pack and holding friendship necklaces. And in my previous video I said I believe that this is from the episode Really Small Problems. We then see Lilith and Ida playing some Grudgeby, so maybe we'll get Luce, Amity, Willow, Gus, Lilith, and Ida all playing a Grudgeby match. As someone who likes sports, I'm all for it. And we even see Ida has a varsity jacket with an E on it, so maybe there's like a Team Ida and a Team Lilith, and damn, is Lilith agile in those heels. Our next shot is of Willow doing some awesome plant magic, and this plant is actually one that we've seen before in Something Ventured, Someone Framed in the plant homeroom. And then we get Amity and Luce hanging out at the Owl House in Luce's room, and Luce is showing off two outfits. The black dress on the right looking like something that Amity would wear, and then the bear costume on the left definitely looking like something Luce would wear. But what could they be picking outfits out for? I wonder. And don't worry, I will get into that later, but oh my god, I'm just so happy that they are hanging out together. Our next shot is of Willow gesturing to the banners of all the main covens and tracks, so this is likely taking place from the episode The First Day. The cool thing is that we could see people on the banners, who I'm assuming are the founders of each of their respective covens, so it would be cool to learn more about these individuals. And then we get this shot. Luce and Amity dressed up all fancy, Amity in her dress and Luce in a tux with her hair combed back. Now, a few days ago I said that I hoped there would be a Grom episode since we saw a poster for it in Something Ventured, Someone Framed, and it looks like this could be Grom. And Luce and Amity would go to Grom together. I mean, just look at them. Look at them. Look at how cute and adorable they are. Our next shot is far less interesting, but no, I'm just kidding. We go back to the Grudgeby match, and this time we see Basha and the rest of the Popular Girl posse. We know that Luce was suited up for Grudgeby, and also Lilith and Ida, so it's possible that these two clips take place in the same episode. I'm also wondering if Amity is in this episode, and this is like the episode where she breaks ties with Basha and her posse, and it ends up being through a Grudgeby match. After all, we know that Basha likes competition from Once Upon a Swap when she challenged King. And an interesting thing to note is that the ball is now on fire, so Basha definitely is not holding back. This shot is actually one we saw previously in a promo of King opening the doors to Grim Grub's pub, and then we get a shot of the best character, in the show, Amity, trying to do some magic, but it looks like there is a gust of wind blowing. The following shot is of Gus, King, and Ida sitting in the Owl House, and we see Willow unconscious on the couch in the back. And then a bright light bursts from behind Gus. Now, there's an unofficial synopsis out right now for the upcoming episode Understanding Willow, where Luce, Willow, and Amity take a trip down memory lane. Maybe this is from that episode and Willow is unconscious while Luce and Amity go through her memories, while Gus, Ida, and King watch over Willow in the real world. We then see a disguised Tibbles, or at least I'm assuming it's Tibbles in disguise, who knows, maybe he has a brother or a cousin, but this is likely the fortune teller that was mentioned in the Really Small Problems synopsis. We then get Edric and Emera looking to kick some butt in front of the Owl House, and we can see in the back that Hootie's like a little bit beat up, so maybe these two are helping defend the Owl House from something. Also, they combine their circles into one, so that's a really cool new trick that we haven't seen before. But man, I love these two so much, and I'm so happy that they are going to be in more episodes. Our next shot is of Luce with Principal Bump, and we see Luce throwing a potion on the ground. Perhaps this is from The First Day, and this is the trouble that gets Luce thrown into the delinquent track. We then see Gus and Willow, who are shrunk down, trying to hide in a cup, so we know that Luce and King aren't the only ones who got affected by the shrinking. We then see Ida running from Lilith, and yeah, that seems about right. Lilith is also wearing her Emperor's Coven cloak here, so that's just an interesting detail. Our next shot is of Luce opening a door, and we can see that her uniform here is gray, so at this point I have no idea what's going on with Luce's uniform. I would guess that this may be the delinquent track uniform since it's gray, and gray isn't a color associated with any of the tracks or covens. But we then see that behind the door is a monster creature apparently sucking the life out of the students, just a regular day at Hexside. We then see Ida opening up a human horror house stand where it looks like she'll be using Luz as an attraction to get some money. We see King writing the word blood on a piece of paper, and I'm guessing that this is from Sense and Insensitivity while he is brainstorming ideas for his book. This shot here is actually from Adventures in the Elements, so not much to talk about. We then see Gus and Willow is acting a bit off. We can even see that her eyes are dilated and black rather than green. I'm guessing this is from the same episode where Willow was lying on the couch back at the Owl House. We see Willow and Gus again here, this time Willow riding atop a fly, so this is from Really Small Problems. We get some more grudge beat between Ida and Lilith, and then we get this guy, who I'm assuming is Emperor Bellows at the moment. We see Lilith is standing before him. We also see a throne behind him, so yeah, I'm guessing that this is Emperor Bellows. And even if it's not, this design is so good regardless. We see this angry unicorn that we have seen before from previous promos. Again, this is from Really Small Problems. And then, oh man, baby Amity. Baby Amity with brown hair, which backs up that Amity does in fact dye her hair. And this is also our first look at the Blight parents, and just from this shot alone, they seem pretty awful. Now, something to note, and I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen Adventures in the Elements yet, but there is an article of clothing on Amity here that she still has in the present. We then get Luz with a flail, and come on, this has to be Grom. There are decorations on the ceiling, Luz is all dressed up, it's gotta be. But we also see that Luz is also wearing a tutu, and all I could say is that I am so excited for anyone who decides to cosplay this outfit. Now we also see that the flail has a glyph attached to it, and again, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but if you've seen the episode, you know what this is. And I also like seeing how creative Luz is getting with her glyphs now. We then get a shot of Lilith in the Owl House, so I have no idea what she is doing here. Pretty bold of her just to show up at Ida's place, but she is trying to capture her, and we also see Hootie is here, cutting into frame. The next shot we get is of Ida with a fireball and sword in hand coming from behind a statue, and she is wearing her cloak here, so it's likely that this is from the same episode where Lilith is chasing Ida. Our next shot is of Tibbles, who is wearing his carnival outfit, and we see Luz and the gang all shrunk down in a cage, so yeah, definitely from Really Small Problems. We get a quick shot of Lilith doing some magic, and based on the lighting here, I would say that this is from the same scene as when she is talking to Emperor Bellows. We see Luz in her multicolored uniform, so at this point we have seen white, which I'm assuming is before you pick a track, gray, which is the delinquent track, and then this uniform with multiple color tracks. Plus, we've got a new glyph, one that looks like it may be able to get rid of the bars that are blocking Luz's way. We get another shot of Lilith, and again, based on the lighting, I'm guessing that this is from the same scene as with Emperor Bellows. We see Luz, Willow, and Gus. Luz is again wearing her multicolored uniform. Willow is just pulling out all the stops and literally having trees grow arms to punch people, and we can also see that Gus has an illusion of himself up. I also have a feeling this has something to do with the bard track because we can see a harp over here, which also represents the bard track and coven. Our next shot is of a mysterious cloaked figure who is also wearing a gray uniform, and we know that there will be 2 guest stars in the first day, so I'm guessing that these 2 new characters will also be part of the delinquent track, hence the gray uniform. We see Luz on the Grudgeby field, but is stopped by some rocks emerging from the ground. We get a shot of Ida launching a fireball. Since she is wearing her cloak here, I'm guessing this is again from the same episode of Lilith chasing her. We see Luz and the gang hanging out at the carnival, and it seems that King is getting left out, and my guess is that King is too short to go on the rides, and so he wishes to the fortune teller that he was the same size as Luz, Willow, and Gus, and of course, rather than make him taller, they all get shrunk. So that's my guess for Really Small Problems. We see again my 2 favorite dorks, and Amity is looking a bit stressed out, and Luz, I guess, is just creeping on Amity. I have no idea how the lockers are able to do this, but hey, if that means Luz and Amity are hanging out more, I am all for it. We again see King being left out, so yeah, I'm sticking to my prediction for Really Small Problems. And then we get this right here, like, come on, this has to be Grom, it has to be. How many movies and TV shows have had this near identical setup of 2 characters stepping outside of the dance to go in a hallway to have a private conversation? And look at Amity, she is someone who is more reserved and closed off, so the fact that she is putting her hands on Luz's shoulders and smiling, like, come on, I just hope that they dance together, I want something here. This is being set up, it's being so blatant right now, but oh my god, I'm so excited for this episode. I have no idea what episode it is, but damn am I excited for it. But anyways, back to Grudgeby, and we see Luce tap the ball and it causes it to light on fire. And again, I'm trying not to spoil anything for anybody, but I know a certain someone who knows a fire spell that could help teach Luce the glyph for that. And again, this is likely from the same episode with Basha. Our next shot is of Ida and Lilith, and they come across a new character, so it will be interesting to see how they play into all of this, and it seems like the two sisters may have been chasing this individual down based on how they are reacting as they approach, so maybe we'll get a Lilith and Ida team up for an episode. But it doesn't seem like Lilith and Ida will be on good terms for long, because our next shot is Lilith holding King and Luce charging at Lilith. We also see that Luce has two glyphs in her hands, and it seems like she has a new spell. Next we see Luce, Willow, and Gus, and Luce again has her gray uniform, so this is likely from the first day. And we also see a teacher get thrown to the ground, so maybe that monster we saw before has something to do with this. We see the return of our friend the Snaggleback, and it looks like he's being used as a disco ball for Grom. And even in the background, you can see the letters R-O and presumably an M, so yeah. We get a quick shot of Ida in her cloak again, we get a shot of King being trapped in the magic box from the previous promo, and we know that this is from Sense and Insensitivity. We got these weird looking statues here, and honestly I have no idea what these things are or what they are for. The only connection I could make is that Hecate is multi-faced, but I doubt this is an Azura thing. We then get some weird looking cats with human faces, so you know that's cool. We see Luce again in the same outfit and cloak as when she attacked Lilith, and we see she has even more glyphs now, and I am just so proud of her learning new spells and getting more creative with how to use them. We see a quick shot of Lilith again in her Emperor's Coven cloak. Our next shot is of Luce looking down at something from a window. And then we see a mysterious cloaked figure, and I'm guessing this is a flashback of some sort. And then we see this guy again, the presumable Emperor Belos, this time seated on the throne that we saw previously. And man, this design is just so cool! We get a quick shot of this monster again, and we see that an abomination is being thrown at it, so maybe Amity comes in to help the others out. And if you think back to this shot, there is this weird blue wind, and it seems that this monster sucks the life out of others, so maybe this is Amity trying to help defeat this monster. We then go back to the Owl House with Willow on the couch, and there is a clone of Gus. We see Lilith again kneeling before Emperor Belos, an incredibly quick shot of Warden Wrath. We see what I'm assuming is the front of this individual that we saw Ida and Lilith pursuing earlier, a quick look at the eyes of Emperor Belos, a quick glimpse from Adventures in the Elements, and then we get Lilith with Luce, and man, does Lilith look crazy here. Like, I always figured Lilith would go a little bit too far in serving the Emperor, but man, here it looks like she is out for blood. But that is not the last we see of Lilith, because the next shot is of this crab creature that has captured her. And based on the shot that we saw before of Ida shooting a fireball upwards, it could be to attack this thing. Our next shot is of Kikimora, who is not mentioned by name in Convention, but rather in the credits. So we know that we'll be seeing her again. And then our last shot of Luce's mother stepping through the portal door saying, Mija. Oh boy, okay, that was a lot to go through, but if you were not hyped enough, you should definitely be hyped now because man, Dana Terrace and her team are clearly pulling out all the stops. I'm so incredibly excited for what is to come in the Owl House, and hopefully you are too. But thank you so much for watching, I hope you have a fantastic day, and until next time guys, take care.